everyone, welcome back to Storybaggers. Today we will be reading Chapter 5. On with the story. Boo had been right. The short drop off the stump was enough for Bobble to get airborne again. What a relief! What a feeling to have the night air underneath his wings, cooling his rather sweaty wing pits. From up here he could see much further, and the smell of the fruit was less distracting. His head was starting to clear. From up here, Bobble could see Boo stalking the twitching, shimmering tail of a story. That's funny, thought Bobble. What's he up to? Dr. Kimori had mentioned the vampire bats yesterday night in an attempt to grab the class's attention, but he hadn't yet got around to telling them much about them. Boo's sharp senses had picked up the warmth of the energy of the story, while Bobble was still struggling up the side of the stump. He knew that this could be his chance to impress old Batwings. All he had to do was find out which story it was, and then look for his chance to trip it up, to stop it while it was still trying to play itself out. The story's tail twitched and sparkled as it zigged and zagged between the trees. Boo knew he had to bag it before it left the orchard. Once it reached the open farmland, it would gather speed and he'd never catch on to it. He narrowed his eyes. It was a pretty thing, a glimmering golden string in the twilight, just a metre or so above the ground. Boo gave a quick pat to his waistcoat pocket to check that his story bag was there, tensed his body, and pounced. And missed. Bah, the story was teasing him. It had baited him on purpose. Boo watched crossly as the glittering string swooped up, out of the trees, and over the field. It sparkled briefly at the door of a farmhouse, then, with what looked very much like a mocking flick of its tail, it ducked inside, leaving Boo fuming in the dark. Bobble watched all of this open-mouthed. He was itching to know why Boo should be so keen to catch on to a story. Everyone in Haven knew about the stories, didn't they? Stories in Haven were stories on holiday, carefree and a bit mischievous. Bobble knew from experience that they were unpredictable. Catching onto the tail of a story was like trying to ride a bucking pony or a tiny tornado, depending on how frisky the story was feeling. Most sensible bats didn't try to go near a story. So what was Boo up to? Deep inside Bobble, the masked bat stirred. This needed further investigation. Telling Vesper what he was about to do, but without waiting for a reply, Bobble wobbled out across the open field. A minute later, he came to a panting stop on a first-floor windowsill of the farmhouse. A few seconds later, Vesper landed beside him with the grace of a thrown Christmas pudding. He scrambled clumsily for balance, knocking Bobble sideways as he did so.
I didn't hear what you said, Bobble. What are we doing again?
Watch it, will you? What we're doing is checking out what's so interesting about that story in there. Bobble gestured with his claw into the room. That vampire bat, that Boo, was chasing it. Why? Something doesn't smell right around here. Vesper turned his head quietly to sniff at his own wing pits.
Not me. Definitely not me.
Not you, you daft bat. I mean Boo. He's up to something. My super senses are screaming at me. Vesper snorted.
That's not your super senses, Bobble. That's your mum when you get back and tell her what you've been up to.
Vesper was probably almost certainly right, but Bobble's inner masked bat had risen, with his shiny wings of thunder, and would not be denied. He stuck his little nose against the glass to see if he could catch sight of Boo, which was unfortunate as it turned out. At precisely that moment, a girl appeared at the window and threw it open, hurling Bobble and Vesper backwards off the sill. It was only through luck and gravity that they avoided being smashed into a pulp between the window and the farmhouse wall. They fell far enough to avoid the window frame as it crashed back, but still had enough height to find their wings and wobble back up to safety under the roof of the farmhouse. They hung there, shaken, listening as the girl spoke to someone else in the room. I don't see why I have to get all dressed up. All I want to do is stay here and read my book. Why can't I just do that? From his position tucked away under the dressing table, Boo had a fine view of the golden-haired girl as she stomped about. His brain was racing. Which story was it? Cinderella? The girl certainly had the hair, but she wasn't wearing rags, more like workman's overalls, really. She had pretty big boots, too, for such a dainty pair of feet. Not much good for dancing, and definitely not of the glass variety. Snow White? Probably not. He hadn't seen any bluebirds, and the apples in the fruit bowl were a fairly ordinary green, not a wicked polished red. He tilted his head to listen to what the older woman was saying. Listen, love, I know it's not really your thing, but But your dad went all the way into town for that dress, and I know he would love to see you looking nice for your birthday. It is your 16th after all. You can read your book any night of the week. This is a special occasion. So it was the girl's 16th birthday, was it? Could it be... Aurora, for the last time, stop moaning. Dad spent a lot of money on that dress. The least you can do is try it on. Boo had to stop himself from laughing out loud. Bingo! Sleeping Beauty. He knew how this was supposed to go. No problem. The girl was still grumbling as she shrugged her way into what was, to be fair, a rather nice frock. It's not my kind of thing at all. I feel stupid. It's so impractical. When would I wear a dress like this around the farm? Oh, for heaven's sake, I'm not asking you to wear it to muck out the pigs. Just sit there and stop fiddling with it. I'll get you that spinning that needs finishing. That'll keep your hands out of mischief and your skirt clean. You can crack on with that till your dad gets home, and then we can cut your birthday cake. Oh, and Philip said he might pop over later. Aurora smiled at that, and the little vampire bat sensed an increase in warmth under her skin as the blood rushed to her cheeks. Boo grinned, showing his tiny teeth. Spinning wheels, easy to break. Wool, so easy to bite through. Any moment now, the story would be caught. No spindles, no 100-year nap, and no true love's kiss. Happy ending ruined, story bagged, bingo bango. End of story. In tomorrow's Story Baggers, our batty heroes fight for the life of a story, and Boo kisses a prince. Till then, stay safe everyone, stay inside, and good night.